Right, Sigma Part 8, and we're kicking off under the car. The rear axle is rather beautiful. We don't have, I'm just going to try and move the camera, I'm on a small tripod. We don't have any leaks. I've checked the axle level, it's fine. The thing looks really, really good. The only thing that worries me though, is if I look up here, the exhaust tailpipe is in the way. There's a bush in the top of the diff housing. I need to check that, because if I have to do that, it is easier just dropping the rear axle. Having a look at the exhaust, I'm going to cut it off behind where it shrunk down there for the tailpipe, and then I'll take that piece off there on the ground, because there's nothing else holding it in. There's an intermediate muffler that could well be a resonator, and that can stay on. That looks to be reasonably healthy. I'll take the pipe off and have a look. It'll just get things out the way. The gearbox, if you look over there, let's move him down so you can see what I'm talking about. This car, can I compensate for light a bit better by doing that? The extension housing seal looks like it's got a sweat, but it's not leaking. What I might do is drop the gearbox. I didn't want to, but just look, it's going to be easy just putting it all together on the floor in the garage and just lifting the whole thing in. Transmission mount doesn't look as bad as I thought. I'm kind of looking at it from the top of the camera to the chassis rail, and I can't really see, but from what I can see here, it's not that bad. It just might be easier just popping it out, but I'll drain it first. I'll have to take the tail shaft out, and I don't like being under the car on asphalt. I prefer on concrete. So we'll see where this takes us. Right, tail shaft. When we look at these, we're not just looking for movement. That is actually not good. I can feel it, dunk, 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 if you know what I mean. But not just that. See that rubber there? It's not on the other side. That's unroadworthy. So I think we'll pop a pair of universal joints in. They're not dear, and it's good insurance. Right, so I've dropped the exhaust. We know the rear mufflers had it on this car, and it's just all held up by rings. There's 6 of them. There's 2 on the back here. There's 2 on the front of it, and there's 2 down the intermediate pipe after the resonator. So I think what we'll do, I've got that dropped right down, is we'll cut it off. Right, so I've popped a new disc in the angle grinder. This is sacrificial, this we want to keep. So there might be a bit of noise here. And if there's a fire, it's because of residual fuel in the line. Not comfortable. I have to do that from the other side too. But if I do come in from the other side, I might want to move that. Oh, I can chew that off. That'll be right. Don't use screwdrivers as chisels. I've been told off for this more than once. Probably come off now. Sweet. Full of elastic. Lovely. Let's have a look at this. Looks lovely. Just full of elastic. Elastic's good here. That's what I do use elastic for on exhausts. Let me just get a brush and clean that up. Right, let's have a look. And although that's dirty, it is absolutely reusable. We can recycle this. Lovely at the end, all good. The muffler we know is knackered because it's got the huge hole that we stuck sticky tape over, but I will keep that here until I have a new one, just to check the pattern's the same, and then that can be thrown away as well. So good news with the exhaust, really. Is it level? Not really. Let's just push him up a little bit more. That's probably right. Let's take this drain plug out and see what falls out of this gear bag. I've got to reach across from the camera because it's right where I need to be. So if I sort of loosened it before. Here we go. Let's see what comes out, because I'm tipping. There's not going to be an awful lot. Oh, it's my arm in the way. Hang on a minute, I'll get with the other one. Oh, that's alright. What is it? What does it smell like? That's not 80/90. That could be Yeah, that's 75. I know what that is. Cool. I'm going to go and have a tea break. I think I'm going to let that drain out. What's on the magnet? Let's see. Oh, there's snot. Ugh, actually, it's not good. Hang on. I can feel something there. Oh, it's not that bad. Actually, it's not that bad at all. On mine, we put it in reverse years and years ago. It was either my brother or me. I think it was me. Without putting the foot on the clutch. And just went crash straight into reverse. And the noise it made was horrendous. But I tell you what. No, that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll let that drain a bit more. It's actually quite thin. I thought it was 424, but I reckon it's the 75 stuff. A piece of bog, which is a great memento. Do you like that? Okay, I'm going to go and have a tea break. I'll see you guys soon. Well then, what do we have here? We have a cup of tea that's currently brewing and a little borgie that's about to get evicted. Still haven't finished my tea yet. This little borgie has a really good... You can't go down into reverse. You can't actually accidentally get it in. You've got to really push. XC is very different to that because it's very easy to just push over. Same sort of arrangement on the XC, on the Fords I should say. They're very much known for these nylon threads to pack up. I wonder if I can just pull that off without... Might just pull that out. Might be easier. Might just take a bit of real pressure off that, which it does, and it'll be the same arrangement as the Fords, I would think. Never seen one of these pull the shifter out though. I think people get a bit overzealous doing fast gear changes and damaging them. Let's pop that in there and we can withdraw the box. I think I've given myself enough room to get this out. Let's have a look. No, I probably haven't. I might just put it on the ground. Pull that out and just carry it out. That's probably the easiest way. Right, quite a big gear bag. It's bigger than I thought. Quite heavy too. What do we got? So, I think we'll pop a new seal in the back. The rear mounts look good. I don't see any point in replacing those. What's the other side like? Splendid. We'll just take that off and give it a clean. Reverse switch, reverse light switch is there. We've got the speedo cable there. And there's an earth cable next to it. And that earth cable ensures that we don't earth through the speedo cable or anything like that. Electricity will always take the path of least resistance. Looks like it might have been replaced. It's got like Wreckers texture on it. That sort of paint pen stuff. But all things considered, that is actually dry. That's not bad. It's not worth pulling that apart. I'm not going to touch it. I might take a look at that front seal though. That does appear. That's engine oil. That's not gear oil. It does look almost like, if we look under there, it could have a leak on it. But I'll know when I pull the thrust bearing. I just don't know if it's worth doing that. I'm not sure. I might pop the thrust bearing out and have a look. In fact, I might do it right now. Well, have you ever put gloves on that you've already worn? Sweaty gloves on through bolting. It's like sitting on a warm toilet seat. Let's have a look at this. Does that just pop out? I think it does. And that one. Oh, sorry. Just want to try and get that out. How the hell is that held in? Yes, it does just clip in. There we go. Thrust bearing. Well, it's got a little bit of noise there, it's not too bad. What I'm interested in is under here. You can't even freaking tell. It's just so oily and horrible. I don't know, I might take a punt on that. I can't see anything in there. I'm just trying to look for a rag. Well, I'll use that one. I can't see anything in there that says that it's gear oil. I think. Is that in neutral? Sounds actually quite noisy, doesn't it? Yeah, not loving that. Dodged a few bullets with this car, but I think I might have just scored a gearbox recondition. I might have to put some bearings and seals in it and gaskets. Never done one of those ones, but it doesn't look hard. I'm a lot more comfortable with automatic transmissions. So look, that doesn't matter, you just deal with it and do it. Right, engine bay is now as empty as I want. I'm not taking those brake lines out. We're going to steal Scott's idea of using alfoil. He's on his Datsun 510. He had alfoil around the brake rotors when he was painting in there, and that's what we're going to do here. It's much easier to get off than trying to unwrap tape. That can be a real pain. V8 conversions on these. There's a guy that's done about 6 of them that's posted a video, posted a couple of videos. Really good stuff. Knows his stuff as well. And these are like the old Holdens where they have a smaller tunnel for the manuals. The large tunnel automatic cars, and he recommends the sort of GJ, GK super saloons which have power windows and power steering, that sort of thing. But the auto ones have a huge tunnel, and an AOD will fit in there, and a C4 will fit in there as well. So these ones aren't, they're a lot smaller, and that doesn't bother me because I'm leaving it manual. I prefer a manual car anyway. So we're now ready to do some prep. I've been to work, spoken to a guy about this, and he said he's not going to use the file. He said, I'll do it with you. And there's a joggle in there that we're going to have both sides. And I was wondering how I was going to do that, and he's just going to use a folder. It's in a different part of the college. I'm secondary. This guy's in the sort of TAFE section as well. And he said, we'll just do it on the press brake, and that way we can just make it in one piece. So that's pretty good. But it might have to be, well, more than likely before or after school, because I'm back tomorrow and I don't want to go. Nice and hollow now. And I'll tell you this much, right? There's only really the rear axle and rear suspension left in the car. The doors are still on, but aside from the doors, there's only the rear suspension. And then the thing's just a shell. But it is probably going to come out because I need to do those bushes. But the thing is, I can't do them until the front end's in. I need a way of moving it, rolling it around. And I can roll it on the trolley jack, as long as the back wheels are there, or Vicky Verka, the front wheels. But I can't have it just a shell because I do need to move it around. So if I end up taking it out to do those bushes, I'll take it out after I've done up all the front end. Apparently there's an old Sigma down here somewhere. It's the Mitsubishis. Let's go and have a look. Oh, there she is. Someone's taken the bloody high beams too, which is a pain in the neck. Alright, what have we got here? A rather tasty looking radiator support. I think I might take that. Oh, they've taken off the trim rings too. This looks just like the one I did up for my wife. I don't need any of that stuff. I was just hoping there'd be a good tail light. Nuts. Oh well. This isn't a sad sorry state, this thing. It's such a shame they get to this stage. It's how it is. It's surprising at this day and age though, at the car with 40 years of age on it. Could be here. 183,000. It's just a mess, isn't it? The doors are knackered, full of debris. A lot of this damage could have happened after it was parked up. Look at that. Such a shame. Boot seal? Nope, not there. Oh, yes it is. What condition is it in? Reasonably hopeless, but it is supple. Let me just pause that and have a look. It might be good. I don't think there's anything else I need. Look what happens when you steam clean. They've painted around the sticker which is really, really bad. Anyway, we're not there to talk about that, we're talking about this. It looks all blistery and everything. This thing is straight as an arrow. Thank you very much to the gentleman who recommended this to me. So what we'll do is I've undercut the structure, which means I can cut that in here somewhere. Therefore I can put a plug weld there and weld around that from underneath and weld all around that, and that'll be fine. There's going to be nothing wrong with that. I've cut as much up as I could actually reach with a hacksaw on the car in the yard, where I ran a hacksaw right into and across like that. So what I wanted to do was to get this structure, which has been welded up badly and messed up. So we've just got to make sure we get one crack at this to make sure we get it dead right. I've left myself with about 8 mil of room, between 5 and 8 mil of room. I just want to get this down and have a good look to see how it's all going to fit. But so far, so good. Right. We haven't cut these to size yet, but yes, we're getting there. Let's have a look at that. Perfect. Wonderful. We're probably 1/8 of an inch out there. Just bits at a time. That will go up there, and Bob's your uncle. It's going to be good. It's going to be so cool. Excellent. Well, I think that fits really well. I'm going to go and dig the welder out. It's buried at the moment. Try and get it tacked in before it rains. You can see here, the other one was bent down. Just going to have to modify that. That it? Turn that Y speed down a bit. So we got our bonnet top, our radiator support piece in. I haven't ground these welds back, whoops, all that much because I don't want to thin it out. This is a slam panel, so it's going to cop a fair bit of abuse. What we're doing now, popping big holes here, and welding nuts in. Now I've run out of 8mm, so what I'm doing is I'm putting 5/16 fine in, which is, a lot of people use Imperial, or your Aussie cars used Imperial back in the day, but the fine thread 5/16 are more BMC. I've got a box of those. So I think what we'll need to do, I'm just mounting this on the tripod. Can you see? Can you see? Make sure you say something if you can't see. Hang on. I don't want this to fall. I've got one leg in the drain. Hang on. Oh, come back. What are you doing? That's better. Alright, now we're back in the friggin' drain. Okay. Now what we're going to do, there's a couple of things we need to do. We need to take the zinc off. This is zinc plated, so when we weld, I want to take all that zinc off the face there. I'm just going to put them in a pair of vice grips. I'm going to pop a bolt in, so when we weld around it, we don't knacker the thread. It's possible that some of the welding material will get onto the thread and screw up the bolt, but it doesn't matter. We can take that out and the thread will be clean. If not, we can just run a tap through it. So I want to take the zinc off first, and then I'm gonna, can we see over there? I don't know how much you'll see. I'll just start putting it in. I've had to change the wire on the welder. I'm welding outside and it's a bit drafty. I've put some flux cord wire in, and it seems to be really, really good stuff. Good penetration, reasonably neat. Not as neat as the when using a shielding gas, but it seems to be doing the job so far. So I'm just going to take this zinc off. Now what I noticed before, I had the welder too low and we weren't getting good penetration in the nut. This is thicker steel, this is a couple of mil thick, and we've got a much thicker walled nut. So I've turned the welder right up to get good penetration, because otherwise it's not going to penetrate, and then you grind your welds back. I've only just done a very, very rudimentary job there. I don't care. As we said with the top of the radiator support panel, I want that to stay there. I don't want it to pull out because the battery's quite heavy, even though it hooks in under here onto the structure. Now, because we're using flux cord, it does leave a lot of slag, quite a bit of term on there. It's worth spending money on good flux cord wire because essentially these are designed for a shielding gas, but outside it's no good. You can do it on a very still day, but today's night. It's very hard to get around the front of it. I'm going to try. I can't really get. Well. And we'll see where that gets us. I can't get around the front, that's all, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. So this is mighty ugly, but it's alright. You can't see the hex around there. You can see like little bits of it where I've missed, but I've just sort of tacked it around, but I couldn't get to the front very well. So I'll stick this one in. There's a couple of other examples. Not particularly neat, but they're going to hold. They're going to be fine. And because it's all hidden, I can paint that now. Or, you know, rub it back and paint it. And it'll be fine. It'll hold the battery nicely. We don't have to weld the train. And for what it's worth, when you're using a shielding gas, you're using this type of wire. This is the stuff I bought. Now it's single pass, 0.8mm flux cord, comes in a vacuum sealed thing. It does have a shelf life, but for outside stuff, it's fine. And it seems to flow nicely. The cheap stuff from the local hardware that everyone knows and don't even go near it, it's rubbish. It looks like chewy, it doesn't penetrate. If you do get penetration with it, you're just getting tiny little bits. It's so messy and so horrible to use. You can actually do a fair bead with this. It's not as good as having a shielding gas, but it's a heck of a lot better than the other stuff. Idler arm, which looks alright. It's got one of those modern neoprene or whatever they are bushes, but there is some movement in the idler at the top here that'll transfer into the steering, which I don't want. I'll just give that a paint job. I'm not worried about that. Drag link's a drag link. A bit more cleaning. We're not going to be plating this stuff. We'll just clean it up a bit more. But what I'm interested in is this: the tie rods and tie rod ends. Different. I don't know if that is legit, that bit there. Somebody's put a tie rod end on that. That looks alright. It looks fairly new. Actually, it's just been in a parts wash. It looks good. As for that one, it's knackered. You can see the boot's all gone. This one doesn't look old. So I'll check that out. I'm most likely to put a whole set on. But if it's alright, it's alright, you know. I mean, why would you put everything else new on and not one of those, which is probably going to cost the total of about 15 bucks. So we'll just see how that goes. Haven't washed up the sway bar yet, and haven't done anything with those. So the cast rod housing. So a few bits on the boil at the moment. The steering box is at work. The steering box feels rubbish. I've got it in parts wash at the moment. It's soaking because it's particularly dirty. But I wouldn't be surprised if that steering box is knackered. Please excuse this horrible mess. There are two dashboard bits here, as well as other stuff. This is the original one, and it's broken in so many places. It's got a crack there. It's broken across the top. It's cracked over here. It's basically munted. Now, there's a couple of things with this. There are 3 reasons for it. Oh, that's broken too. There are 3 reasons for this. I think there are anyway. Firstly is age and fatigue. I think we all know plastic gets to a certain age and it starts getting brittle. The second thing is I think these have been over tightened. And the third thing is the radio wasn't supported and it's very, very heavy. This is a radio cassette, a Clarion one. And I haven't tried the cassette deck, but the radio sounds fantastic. It's got loudness, it's got all sorts of things. These came with a very small, standard AM radio only. I think the SE had a cassette deck. This is the part we picked up. This is GE Sigma. This is the model before. They had black dashes in them. They didn't have colour-coded ones, but it's all the same. That's been hacked away. How could anyone do work like that? It's just beyond me. But in saying that, this one has been hacked as well. And I can see in there where it's been damaged. Now, there's a couple of things with this. The plastic is in much, much better condition. It is starting to fray out there. I think what we'll do is we'll just grind that, or file it, I should say, flat. Did I just spit? I think I just spat. We'll grind that or file it flat, sorry, and then we'll graft a washer onto it, and that will give it some support. Just a small machine washer there, and we might do the same to the other points as well. Having said that, this is in far better nick, but we do have this ugliness here, and I cannot stand that. When people start drilling holes in dashes, it's just beyond me. I can't bear it. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to strip this thing out and give it a hose off, I think. It doesn't well enough to keep it dry, but we'll take it out. We'll take it apart first and see where that gets us. Right, so this is just, pardon me, an exercise in stripping this thing down. And we'll just take all this stuff out and make it weightless. And that way I'll strip both of them down, and what that'll do is it'll give us a chance to, it'll give us a chance to just pick the nicest bits out of each one. And the other thing is I do have to, if I use this one, I'm going to have to recolour it, which means it needs to be stripped right down. So as an example, these vents are in nicer nick than the other ones that I've got, but you know, once we clean it up we'll have a better idea. So cigarette lighter receptacles, all that sort of stuff. Oops, we can, as we said, just pick the best of what we've got. And there's the tang for it. I'll leave that on the loom. And we can paint these bits individually, clean them all up. I want the cigarette lighter to work because I want to use the sat nav in it every now and then. Great for checking your speedo and that sort of stuff. That's all we're going to forget how this goes, I reckon. Considering I've got to remember how the rest of the car goes, so we can check all that. Oh, what now? Okay, so that loom came off. That's rather easy. And heater fan. And he'll just fall out. The switch gear in the other one worked quite well, so we can stay with that. We'll just see what's in better nick. The only thing I want to get out now is that, and oh, that wasn't exactly hard, was it? We've got a diffuser and a piece of this stuff and that, so it's cool. Right, so that's what we're left with, skeleton. We've got some wood grains that was in SE, that can come off. We've got goopy crap here which can come off, and I will have to take that out. I think I might just tape that up. What I want to have a look at though is this. I don't like holes, and so we're going to use a drill bit. Hopefully this guy's done it in metric. Nope, it's bigger than that. We'll find the appropriate size drill. Half a mil less, do you think? It's too small. That's a metric one, that's imperial. But we might be able to use that. Anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to find out what that is, because I can't bother looking at the box. That's 9.5 mil. And I'm going to cut out a piece of 10mm plastic from an inconspicuous area like that, or like that, off the other one, and make a plug for it. And you can see these dashes are all painted anyway, they're naturally black. But we can take all that sort of swarfy crap off, and I'm just going to try and cut it a little bit finer than that. Probably a 15th too small now, but that's the idea. And so we can glue that in. I would have preferred a tighter fit than that. It is staying there, but if I glue that in, and I reckon just tiny bit of high fill around the edges, we won't lose the grain. But I reckon it'll work. I reckon it's good. I'm just going to, while I've got this glue out, this is just 2-part Aridite. I'm just going to stick some around where those cracks are. And that's far too much, but I think this is going off a bit. Hang on. And I've got some washers here, I'll just stick some washers there, and that'll just hold it. The other thing it's going to do is it'll spread the load when I try to tighten the dash, or when I tighten the dash up. It just, hopefully it doesn't encourage the cracks to go further out, but you don't need to reef on these things, you can just sort of zap them up a little bit, button them up, and where's the other washer? I bought another washer, where is it? And the other thing we can do with this, once I wipe my screwdriver, is just center them. That'll do. Right, so I've got my silver stuff. You can see this rock cover's come out well. But there is one thing I want to tell you about it. It's not painted. This is the single biggest reason why I use hydroblasting. This is the one that was originally painted in that sort of translucent blue, and there was, corrosion coming up all over the place. Now, hydroblasting doesn't blast, it peens almost, and that's why it comes up so well. Now, if somebody said to me this is new old stock, I'd absolutely believe it. It is absolutely lovely, beautiful. So this is what happens when you hydroblast. It's almost like powder. It's glass shot that's suspended in water. So I don't think you could ever criticise this. The finish on it is absolutely exquisite. And that's the reason I do it. Hydroblasting, mate. Now that costs $30 to blast. So even with a bit of corrosion on it, it just came out lovely. I'm very, very happy with that. So where are we at? Well, radiator support is sorted. That's looking really good. As I said, I haven't cleaned that up to metal finish it. I don't care. I'm just going to put a very, very fine bit of filler on, and that's the only filler I'll need. A tiny bit of surface rust here and there underneath where the paint was. We can treat that, etch the thing, get it painted. Now we can actually start preparing this thing to paint it. So we'll pop the lights out, clean up in here a bit, and etch it. Then we'll just etch the bare metal area, prime it and paint it. Now I'm going to fix up those stuff up there, which I pointed out before. I don't know if you can see that around there, that's terrible. I will fix that. And then we'll paint it that colour, and then of course clear it. Once that's done, we'll just start putting it back together. Have to clean this off. You can see this radiator support down there and so forth is off a tiger yellow car. So we do need to clean it up a bit. The captive nuts are in, down there, and so forth. We do need to make sure you can see the edge of that nut there. That means it's not welded properly, but at the other side of it is, so that's all good. You do have to crank your welder up a fair bit before you'll get penetration on much thicker metal like that, and so on and so forth. Now, this is what we have to do. I haven't done down here on the sills. I still haven't done that. I'll wait till I get the patches for the what are they called? Front guards, and I'll do all that at the same time. I can get the engine bay well underway before then. I'm going to fix this up. It's flaky where the sticky stuff was, and there's some surface rust there. We need to get that out. And if it goes further, we need to weld a patch in. I'm not worried about that. What's going to happen is I'm going to paint that whole underneath part, because the paint I've got won't match the original stuff there, or the stuff that's been put down there. The other thing is I'm not too keen with how that was done, because was it on the guards? It's actually different there. It looks like it's a different colour. I don't like that, people painting around mouldings and that sort of stuff. So I think we'll redo all down below the waistline, re-clear it, and when we do this colour, we'll paint the stripe in. So I'll bring this blue up, the dark blue, higher, and bring it up to there, the edge of that, and then I'll tape off and make the double line when I put this blue on later on. We're just going to blend into that. It's not going to look great, but it'll be all respectable, and we can get our little roadworthy. We can't go too far with this sort of car. As we said, the value is limited. So basically I'm probably going to go over anyway because I'm going stupid with it, and I'm getting a lot of flack from people who think it's funny. And it is funny because I'd be teasing people as well, let's face it. But if we'll get it on the road, we'll drive it around, and I'll probably just give it to my son. I don't know. I'll see what he wants. If he's still interested in it, that's all good. So that's it for this one. In the next one, we will have that engine bay painted, and we will start putting stuff back in. And that's the exciting bit. That's the nice bit, because I've got crap everywhere, and I need to get this thing done. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you around.